Minecraft. A timeless game with timeless music with an endless fanbase. A game I personally have grown up with. Whether it's vibing to Pigstep or listening to the melody of Sweden, the game has changed how I've grown up. The game's a place where anything can be made, a true sandbox, and I think that's why we all love it. But you've heard the story on the thousands of videos covering the rise and fall and rise of Minecraft, or the story of Minecraft or something like that. This video isn't one of them. The question I ask will hopefully present an entirely new story and change the game for the better for most players who play the game, and finally, give me an answer. When I was 7 or 8, I was at my friend's house. We would often play on his Xbox on something like LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean or LEGO Harry Potter. But one day he pulled out a game. It was like LEGO but different. Minecraft. I, and along with all the other kids my age, fell in love with the game instantly. I started watching the big boys on YouTube at the time, DanTDM, Vikkstar, Preston Plays, Woofles. I was a Minecrafter, with a crippling addiction to the game that can compare to a heroin addict. I was hooked. I got an account in 2013 and played Mineplex and Hypixel non-stop, Mega Walls being my favourite mode, and a slept-on mode as well. Though, as we all know, the game got bought by Microsoft, Notch got depressed, PewDiePie died, Techno stabbed some dudes, and Minecraft's back, baby. And yeah, it got a few views. It also became, the most best-selling game ever, selling 200 million copies as of May 2020, and having 126 million monthly players as of the same date. Yet, there's something this time around I noticed. I'm gonna ask you a question. How many versions of the game are there? Well, there's Java, Windows 10, which is Bedrock, Pocket Edition, which is Bedrock, PS4 and Xbox One, which is Bedrock. Wait. Oh my. Overall, there are 16 versions of the game. What the fuck? Most of which are under the Bedrock umbrella. But then there's my personal favourite. Mal would have loved this one. It's Minecraft China Edition. I'll tell you why. China is a great nation with equal rights for all citizens. Anyone who does not believe in Mao's glorious vision should be tried and sentenced to life in prison, and all of their Skyblock items should be transferred to my account. But seriously, how weird is it that a game as big as Minecraft has its versions differ so much from one another? Even down to how the game's generated, according to the Minecraft wiki. You don't see Modern Warfare 2019 having different guns depending on the platform you find yourself on. Obviously, you have to account for the smaller devices with less capability, like Nintendo Switch, Pocket Edition, Wii U, let's forget about that last one, that gives us a reason for their lack of features. But there's one version that doesn't have this problem. Bedrock. For the consoles at least. The reason I had my whole life story at the beginning of the video was because Bedrock was the mode I mostly played as a kid, and so it feels, I don't know, closer to me. I played Java since 2013, but that was only at my dad's, so I only went to every other weekend. Though Bedrock's changed a lot since I was a child, I can only help but ask why Bedrock has so many different features to Java, or lacking of features. For example, One Tick's farm's still in use. Combat is a mix between 1.8 and 1.9. It's basically 1.8 but with shields, which makes PvP easy to do as you can spam with swords and block all damage with shields. Using two hands hasn't properly been added, the only items you can put in your left hand being shields and fireworks to my knowledge. The main point being that two hands is not added properly. Speaking of shields, you crouch to use them, and they do knockback when hit. Yeah, anyways, maybe there's some good things this game does which Java doesn't. How about snowballs? Okay, this game is lacking a lot of features, and yes, I know there's some good things Bedrock does better than Java, but it doesn't hide the fact that Bedrock feature updates are behind Java by literal years. Why? An example of this is BarkBox being added in Java 1.3.1 and BarkBox being added in Bedrock in version 1.4.0. And I know you guys are saying, well that's not that bad, but 1.3.1 in Java is almost 6 years before 1.4.0 in Bedrock. 1.3.1 in Java was introduced in July 30th, 2012. Okay. And 1.4.0 in Bedrock was released in May 16th, 2018. Why are they both even called Minecraft at this point? They're two different games. The list doesn't end there. Terrible servers and a small amount of servers, and PlayStation 4 not having realms when mobile does. Now, I know some of you guys are going to say Minecraft's owned by Microsoft, but that's just ridiculous. The game might as well be an Xbox exclusive at that point. If you're going to release a game, make it a full product for other platforms.
what it was made to do.
Microsoft.
You have to make us whole.
And speaking of realms, it was added in 1.7.1 in Java, which was launched in October 23rd, 2013. It was added after Bark Blocks. You'd never guess. There's been original realms updates since October 13th, 2017. I say original realms because realms was replaced with Realms Plus, which is the realms that is in current use in Bedrock. Realms Plus was introduced in 2019. And do you want to know why Realms was released before Bark Blocks in Bedrock? It makes Microsoft money. And with only 1 to 2 major updates a year, depending on the size of the update, Bedrock doesn't really have any time soon to catch up. Now, all that aside, what version do you reckon has the most players? You'd be right if you said Bedrock. While I couldn't find an exact figure, it's widely accepted that due to the amount of platforms Bedrock covers, Amazon Fire tablets, Windows 10, PlayStation, Xbox, Amazon Fire TV, iOS, Android, it has more players. Many Minecraft players have asked the same question I've tried to answer with this video.
Just asking why Minecraft Bedrock is so different to Java sad face.
I've called this segment the Big Small Debate, as it's big in terms of the fact that it's noticed by everyone who plays both versions, but people rarely talk about it, which makes it small. There's two sides. This info is literally from one passive-aggressive argument on Reddit, surprise surprise, and it's the only argument on the whole internet that seems to be about this topic, so yeah, sorry.
Have you seen an alien? Have you seen an alien, please? Please, have you seen an alien? Have you seen an alien, please? Have you seen a chef? Please, please, please!
There's the complainers who use their basic knowledge of code to prove their points, and the netcomia deniers,
hypothetically,
who use their epic Ben Shapiro facts
when I say that you deserve a spank
to roast liberals and prove their point. The arguments usually go like this. The complainers say that Mojang can easily make the games the same, and the developers or someone higher up is being lazy. They usually back this up with evidence that C++, Bedrock's code format, is more efficient than Java, making it easier to create and run code. They also argue that the developers can transfer Java code to C++. However, the hackermen neckbeards say that C++ and Java are too dissimilar to transfer, and that the whole game, Bedrock in this case, would have to be rewritten from scratch. Though the complainers clap back and say that Minecraft has the budget and resources to create a Minecraft edition exactly like that. This leads me to beg the question, why the code change? This answer's surprisingly simple compared to the rest of this huge rabbit hole I found myself in. Bedrock has to adapt every one of its platforms. This is something Java code simply cannot do, and C++ can do.
Fuck up! Thank you.
And that's why. There must be some sort of convoluted mess to make finding the answer 1,000 times more difficult than it needs to be. Really? That's it? Oh, okay. I'll still love the game, and I do love the game. This just didn't make sense to me. Unless the video blows up, like and subscribe. The answer will probably never be answered, lost to history, and we may never find out. Unless there's a huge controversy about it, of course. Or maybe no one would care enough to know, or the most probable outcome, no one will watch this video. But I'm hoping at least someone will, or a dev, I don't know. As this is my first video, I've got some stuff about me in this section. When I was making my first video, I didn't know what to do. I looked at others' ideas and pieced together my story and narrative. I've always loved to create stories and plots. I love George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series, but you'll know it as Game of Thrones. This video isn't much of a story, but I think the same ideas still apply. To engage a viewer and make a story interesting, you need a lot of things, but in my opinion, the core features are conflict, characters, lore, and plot. For example, you could argue the conflict is the question, lore is my childhood, characters are the Minecraft bros, and plot is answering the question. Though what I think makes a book or media incredibly popular is lore. Dream SMP if you're looking at Minecraft. But it applies everywhere, like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings or Song of Ice and Fire. I find it makes books and cinema incredibly more popular, as there's an extra layer to add, and without it you miss a lot. Even in games, the premise of Cyberpunk 2077, for example, or The Witcher, or literally any Star Wars game, be it narrative focused or not. It makes the viewing experience more enjoyable, and adds so much more to the material. Comedy is also good in that it interacts with the viewer. I love to entertain people. I always have, even if I make a fool of myself in the process, but the satisfaction it gives me outweighs the negatives. In this video, I'm sure the bros plotline kept at least some people tuned in. When I was a kid, yes, more lore, I used to love watching Indiana Jones and Star Wars, or 80s or 70s movies. They'd always exhilarate me and send a warm feeling down my back, like when Yoda lifts the X-Wing or Indiana's theme plays or Ferris Bueller rides the float in Chicago. I reckon this is due to their amazing music scores. I especially recommend watching Yoda lifts the X-Wing scene in Empire Strikes Back, because Yoda's popping galley quotes left, right and center, and Luke's going on such a good arc about learning what a warrior and a hero truly is, and learning patience, which is a lesson I definitely need to learn. This is something that movies fail to capture for me now. Movies have become more and more safe and boring due to fear of financial loss. Movies are being taken less like art, which is how they should be taken, and more like business. It's been taken like business before, but never to the extent as it is today. It's such a big part of me, and it hurts to see it get stamped out by Netflix's or Amazon Prime Videos as movies that are mostly watered down safe movies to try and pursue every possible demographic, just for money. It's fine to make money off of movies, but if the cost is the quality of the production, it's not worth it. But for real, that was me for real, and I hope this first video let you know who I am, or I don't know, did something for you. Though it's only about 10 minutes long, it took me ages to make, so a like and a subscribe would be great. And remember, you're watching nobody. See you soon.